And before beginning, I would love to hear from you if you are seeking financial advice or have questions. I've put together a very short Google form survey, the link is in the description, and I'm really interested to hear what your single most important financial advice question is. I have some terrific quotes for you folks today from Bill Gross, the Bond King. Gross's career as a fixed income investor at West Coast-based PIMCO became somewhat legendary, and his investor letters gained a very, very wide audience. While Gross, after the financial crisis, was better known for his high-profile departures from his jobs and one very expensive divorce, his record of acumen and knowledge remains. Gross was known for some very successful bets. He tells us, "You need to make big bets when the odds are in your favor. Not big enough to ruin you, but big enough to make a difference." And we learned from Gross that his early attempts at being a professional blackjack player helped him to hone his views. "My early blackjack career taught me several things. The first is that if you apply yourself with a lot of hard work and mathematical prowess, you can beat the system." Just how big of a bet might you make? Gross offers some concrete advice. Do you really like a particular stock? Put 10% or so of your portfolio on it. Make the idea count. Good ideas should not be diversified away into meaningless oblivion. And what about passion? Bill Gross is said to have ate and breathed the markets. He makes this gentle joke. "You know those adagios about smelling the roses and chasing butterflies? The markets are my butterflies and my roses." And what about regular investors who can't be so devoted to the markets? Gross has some advice to be extra careful in who you're entrusting your savings to. Finding the best person or the best organization to invest your money is one of the most important financial decisions you'll ever make. And Bill Gross has some insight on what it's like when your fund isn't doing as well as you hope. A bit comically, he tells us, "When you're underperforming the index, you go home at night and cry in your beer. It's not fun, but who said this business should be fun? We're too well paid to hang our heads and say boo-hoo." That last quote makes Gross's job sound like a tough show. This next one makes it look a little dark. Bond investors are the vampires of the investment world. They love decay, recession, anything that leads to low inflation and the protection of real value of their loans. And what about Gross with some comments on equities? He shares that at a certain level, equity and fixed income investing is the same. Both from the standpoint of stocks and bonds, an investor wants to go where the growth is. But don't let equity investors tell you about the end of the bond market. Gross defends the perpetual need of debt. Bonds as an asset class will always be needed, not just by insurance companies and pension funds, but by aging boomers. And I like these kind words Gross extends to another investing hero of the 1980s. He has a clever quip to complement. Ex-Fidelity mutual fund manager Peter Lynch was certainly brilliant in one respect. He knew how to get out when the getting was good. Bill Gross was one of the few vocal advocates of trouble ahead of the financial crisis. The rising level of debts were certainly on his watch list as a debt investor. He told folks, with all this consumer debt, business debt, government debt, smaller movements in interest rates have a magnified effect. A small movement can tip the boat. And with current inflation and fears, this next quote may be more relevant than ever. The U.S. has almost all the symptoms that Dr. Gross diagnoses. Slow growth and inflation have a tendency to accompany large deficits and increasing debt as a percentage of GDP. And what about Bill Gross as a person? His public presence in investor letters and television appearances left him as a bit of a controversial figure, like anyone else who has those opportunities. Gross comments on his differences. "I'm an Asperger, and Aspergers can compartmentalize. They can operate in different universes without the other universes affecting them as much." In America, maybe this message is old. Gross sees competition on the horizon and the remedy is rapid scale. We're in a race. We just want to scale as fast as possible. Some of Gross's comments after the financial crisis maybe neared cynicism. It's still not very clear if this next pessimistic line is either true or nearing truer today. We are witnessing the death of abundance and the borning of austerity for what may be a long, long time. And I love this last quote. Let introverts of the world relax and take notes for Gross's defense. I will admit I'm an introvert. I don't know why introverts have to apologize. Thanks a lot for watching, and don't forget to fill out the survey in the description if you are after financial advice.